Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Good Samaritans rewarded for helping cop left for dead. Two men have been rewarded for assisting a policeman who was shot, robbed, and left for dead by gunmen in St. Catherine last week. The St. Catherine South Police Division recognized M. Thorpe and J. Wright for their random act of kindness by gifting them with food baskets and cash on Saturday. Constable Michael Manning of the division was shot by gunmen on Monday, February 14, and left in bushes on Municipal Boulevard for hours. Reports are that the men found the injured lawman, whose motorbike and firearm were stolen, and rushed him to hospital where he is now recuperating. In saluting the Good Samaritans, Senior Superintendent Christopher Phillips, commanding officer for the St. Catherine South Police, noted that despite the overwhelming crime rate in Jamaica, there were still good citizens who are willing to make positive contributions to society. St. Mary businessman shot to death by a masked gunman, wife escapes unharmed. A businessman was killed, but his common-law wife escaped serious injury when a masked gunman attacked them outside their business establishment in St. Mary on Thursday. Dead is 54-year-old Delrail Hall of Huddersfield in the parish. Reports reaching reporters are that about 6:20 p.m., Hall and his female companion were standing outside their business place when a masked man armed with a handgun scaled a fence. The gunman then opened fire, hitting Hall in the upper body before fleeing the scene. The woman who reportedly ran when the gunfire started was unharmed. Hall was assisted to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Head of the St. Mary Police Superintendent Bobbitt Morgan Simpson says no motive has yet been identified for the fatal attack, noting that a probe is ongoing at this time. Just Boss charged with murder. The police have arrested and charged a man with last year murder of 50-year-old Arville Square, otherwise called Indian, of McQueen Street in Kingston. Charged is 20-year-old Tariq O'Neill Phillips, otherwise called Just Boss, of Adeline Street in the parish. Phillips has also been charged with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. Reports are that about 2:55 p.m., Arville was standing along the roadway when a motorbike with Phillips as the pillion aboard drove up. Phillips allegedly opened gunfire, hitting Arville to the head. The incident happened along Victoria Avenue on Tuesday, December 28, 2021. Arville was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police said Phillips was apprehended on Thursday, February 10, during an operation and placed on an ID parade where he was positively identified as the shooter. He was subsequently charged on Saturday, February 19. His court date is being finalized. Dust menace grows. They lie on their beds with masks on and windows shut, but not because of COVID-19. It's because they are warding off dust. Though undeniably happy about the road renovations to the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, which began in January 2017, residents of various communities in St. Thomas are irritated by the elongated road time and dust they have been forced to contend with over the period. Part B of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project SCHIP covers from Harbour View to Albion to Yellows Bridge to Port Antonio, and Morant Bay to Cedar Valley. It is slated to end in March of this year. Verona Bryan of Grand Spence sat outside her shop when reporters visited last Tuesday. Frustratedly, Bryan complained about not being able to open windows and having to be cleaning constantly because of the dust from the road work. The dust really affects us because as the trucks then pass, the dust come upon us. So, up to this way plagued with the dust. And the water truck driver doesn't know to come in the lane and wet the place. We have a real problem with the dust, but I think it's less now. It's not that bad like before. The work are boiled down now, so a less dust now, but we still have dust, she said. You wipe your hands on the furniture, your counter, and everything has dust. Even if you dust yesterday morning, and I don't think anybody get any recompense or anything. We have a lot of people with asthma, sinus as myself here, and it's terrible. It is very terrible. Nobody really pay us any mind, she continued. Bryan reported that something as routine as doing laundry has to be given second thought. You have to know what time when we wash and put out your clothes, and you dust them out back when you take them up. And when the rain fall now and wash down the mud, at that time the dust start. When it is dry and the vehicle them pass, you know there's a lot of dust. But window them can't open, she said. Nerissa Bowen rubbed her hands against her closed window and had to run to her outside pipe to wash her hands quickly. When the trucks pass, especially big trucks, everything just come over. The house, the windows, everything inside of the house is pure dirt. They are not wetting the road, and if they do wet the road, they wet the middle of the road, but it's really on the bank that needs it. When the big trucks climb on the bank, the dust comes over. It affects my sinus so much, even last Monday, I was there sneezing, oh my God. Bowen said she had to clean every 2 days, which includes spraying windows with water hose. You can't really get up and clean every day, but every moment you look on the floor, as you don't sweep it, it's pure dust. Sometimes going out there, I have to wear my mask because of the dirt that it's blowing, she lamented. Leonie Watson, 59, sits on her veranda with her skirt covering her nose. Her couch is covered with a piece of clear plastic. I have to put plastic on my chair outside and take up the seat cushions. May not even keep sheet on my bed. By the time you go in there and rub your hands on the bed, a pure dirt. Everything where you put your hand on in the house are dirt. It's terrible. Lambert Martin is a vendor in White Horses. He gets to his stall as early as 6 a.m. each day. Every time a vehicle passes, he is covered in dust particles. Martin described the situation as unbearable. The place one wet man. Every time the big truck them pass, Lord have mercy. When you come out here all the morning time, a pure flour upon the table. Me agree say the road want fix up, but at the same time, you can't treat it better. Send some water come wet up the road and keep down the dust. The dust and mash way up. Me nah lie, the dust and mash way up. Martin pointed to his products that have to be wiped frequently. Every day, me go through it. It rough out here. We want the road but the dust. And the dust we are talk about, nothing more, cause the road have to fix. In Trinity Vale, Henny Livesey had a bucket with soap water at the side of her house. It would appear as if she set up the water, but she just leaves it out there all day, as she had to constantly wash her hands. The dust of we eye, we nose, it give we cold, it give we flu, it give we all sort of things, she reported. We close them on the line, them dirty, and they not getting wet in the road as they should. If them wet the road as it should, we wouldn't have so much dust. We're glad we say them a fix the road and things like that, but I want come between it is a problem. We have to leave soap water out for wash we hand because the place dusty. So we have old soap water and wash we hand as we are go along, she went on. Her neighbor, Parlene, had visited the clinic twice in recent times because of the dust. I'm really glad to the road are fixed, and we know that everything come with a process. So the road are fixed, and we know we have to wait. Nobody can go out there, go block road again, and burn tire and demonstrate about road because we get in road. We see it now, and it's real visible that we get in road, she stated. Only the dust really terrible. When it touch the road isn't wet. The road feel wet like 2-3 times a day, like when I see in the other areas. A 2 time I go down a clinic with sinus problem, and it just about the dust. Norman Hibbert Brown of Cottage Pen returned to Jamaica in December 2020. Before her gate, a large pile of gravel sat with the blow of a strong breeze that spelled disaster for the returnee. The dust is terrible. It is terrible, and they hardly wet the road. When I wake up in the mornings, the state of my veranda is awful. The dust is there. It really makes itself to the house too. No matter how you lock up the place, even when the door is closed, the dust comes in. I can write my name every day on my table in the dust. I have to cover my settee because of the dust. Everything I have to clean. I have to wash down the place, Hibbert Brown lamented. Up to December 2020, under the SCHIP, it was reported that the Harbour View to Albion to Yellows Bridge segment was 10% completed. The Yellows Bridge to Port Antonio construction was 15% completed, and the Morant Bay to Cedar Valley construction was 40% completed. A sum of $17.4 billion was allotted in the 2021-2022 estimates of expenditure to continue implementation of the project, which is being overseen by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation with funding from the Exim Bank of China and the Government of Jamaica. The original cost of the project, for which ground was broken in November 2019, was US $384 million, but last year it was revealed that the government will have to foot the tab for additional engineering and consultancy project management services, which is now costing over US $133.9 million, more than budgeted to complete. Jamalco lauded for showing resilience after devastating fire. Bauxite and alumina company Jamalco has been lauded for retaining its full workforce despite a halt in production due to a fire that destroyed its powerhouse last September. Minister of Transport and Mining Audley Shaw, who commended the company, noted that insight and foresight are being demonstrated in keeping its 1,000 employees, despite the fact that you are not in operation. He said through the gestures, Jamalco is giving some of the workers an opportunity to widen their expertise to learn to do other things in maintenance and other areas. The minister made the comment during a tour of the company in Halls Hall, Clarendon last week. Shaw added that an opportunity is also being provided for the workers to gain useful knowledge in preventative maintenance and understanding the business more. It is an excellent example of good management technique, he stated. Managing Director at Jamalco, Astin Money, said the powerhouse that was destroyed in the fire had posed many difficulties as it was built with 1970s technology. Money said that the new powerhouse is being built with current technology and it will secure the future of Jamalco. He added that the entity will be able to meet orders for its product as the reconstruction is moving apace. Up in the air. There is no clear indication yet how COVID-19 physical distancing will be maintained in schools, especially those with as many as 36 students per class when full face-to-face classes resume in a few weeks, as indicated by the government. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says a multifaceted approach will have to be taken to protect children because physical distancing will be a challenge. I agree that physical distancing will be difficult. We will therefore have to rely more on sanitizing, mask wearing and testing, even while we work with schools and the Education Ministry to increase monitoring activities, he stated. When the Disaster Risk Management Act orders are retired, as Prime Minister Andrew Holness says they will be, the limit for virus gathering will expire, but the physical distancing protocol is still an international recommendation as part of the measures to prevent the spread of the novel coronavirus. There are on average 30 students per class depending on population, the Jamaica Teachers Association had said. Its president, Winston Simmet, said teachers have over the years been asking for a single-seat arrangement for children in the classroom. He said individual seats provided a more conducive environment for teaching and learning, especially in this COVID-19 dispensation when physical distance is of paramount importance. We have been lobbying from that far as back as I can remember. This kind of change requires capital expenditure to bring about a general change or upgrade of each school. To do that, it would be necessary for more classrooms to be built. This is something that we have been calling for as well, he reported. Simmet has already said teachers are apprehensive about the prospect of a full return to classrooms, fearful of positive spread of COVID-19, which could put them out of the classroom and affect operations. One of the recommendations in the recent published Jamaica Education Transformation Commission report is that for a reduction in student-to-teacher ratio to make both the physical and online teaching environment more conducive to student engagement and effective teaching. The Professor Orlando Patterson chaired commission says in the short term, classroom sizes and our teacher-student ratio should be mandated and minimum infrastructure and equipment standards for classrooms and schools updated to the medium term. Some of the recommendations by the United Nations Children's Fund for Physical Distancing in the classroom up to September 2021 are that a distance of at least 1 meter should be maintained, desk spacing should be increased to at least 1 meter between each unit, and the school day should be staggered to avoid having all the students and teachers together at once. Currently, most public schools are using a staggering approach with variation between start and dismissal times for groups of students, different days and day off, or the minimum 2 days face-to-face interaction as prescribed by the Education Ministry. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.